Welcome to another episode of What's Cooking at Vincent Joe's. I'm your host, Veronica Meadows, and today I am here with Dennis Seeley, who is the seafood director of both of the locations at Vincent Joe's. Dennis, thank you so much for joining us today.
Welcome to Vincent Joe's, our Shelby location. Thank you.
So what's really cool about this location is it actually won the best seafood department of our magazine of 2014. Is that correct?
That's correct, and we take very much pride in that. It's a lot of hard work and consistency, but we manage. We're going for the second one this year. Hopefully we'll get it.
And when are you going to find out about the second one?
Probably around March or April, who knows?
So you're really gearing up.
I'm excited. I'm gearing up. We're excited when we found out that we got voted #1 last year. After that, I think I can get used to this.
All right, so you're staying at #1, right?
It's the only way to go.
Okay, perfect. So, with the Lenten season, everybody is, looking at different kinds of fish and everything, and you know a lot about fish, so just
a little bit.
Just a little bit. Okay, so just start by telling us just more about the different kinds of fish at your seafood location.
Sure. Most of the time when customer approach seafood, it goes like, I'm so overwhelmed, what kind of salmon should I buy? There's so many different kinds. There's Norwegian salmon, there's coho salmon, Kira salmon, sockeye salmon. Because I'm not really a salmon eater. So here's the deal. If you don't like salmon, and if you don't like the strong flavor fish, stay away from the sockeye salmon. Because out of all the species of salmon, sockeye salmon, coho salmon, and Kira salmon are going to be your leaner, drier, stronger fish. Okay, if this is something that you're trying to introduce to your kids, more likely they're not going to care very much of that because of the strong flavor. So I always suggest to go with the Norwegian salmon. Those Norwegian salmon comes in fresh every Wednesday and Friday. There's no bones, and it contains higher omega-3. It's actually a lot healthier for our customers' kids compared to the wild-caught salmon.
Definitely. Okay, so if you're just trying to get people, to like fish, especially salmon, you would recommend starting them with the Norwegian salmon?
Indeed, yep.
So it looks like you have different kinds of sashimi grade fish. What is that exactly?
You mistakenly think they are sushi grade. Sushi grade and sashimi grade are totally different. Sashimi grade means edible raw fish, and to be able to eat raw fish, the fish has to be previously frozen for 3 to 5 days. Okay, sushi grade, on the other hand, has to be eaten and consumed raw, caught within 24 hours.
Okay, so then what other kinds of fish do you have that are sashimi grade? We have the tilapia.
One sashimi grade tilapia, and we got the sashimi grade tuna. I actually use the sashimi grade tuna at home when I make sushi, so it is safe to eat fresh.
And then how would you recommend, whether it's sashimi grade or then just normal kinds of fish, how would you recommend that people prepare it?
Okay, well, there's the rule of thumb. When you're cooking seafood, it takes about 10 minutes for every inch of thickness. And don't forget that 145 degrees is the internal temperature that you want to cook your fish to consume them safely.
Okay, what is your personal favorite, I guess, out of all of the different kinds of fish that is available?
I didn't grow up in the United States. I grew up in the Philippines, where we buy our fish a lot different than what we buy our seafood here in the U.S. Where I grew up, we buy by freshness. In the U.S., we buy by species. Okay, the best way to approach buying seafood is aim for the variety of seafood. Most of the time, we focus on cod and salmon. As you can see, the counter is really big, and we have probably a good 50, 75 different species of seafood at Vincent Joe's in any given day. Okay, sometimes we have more. Depends on the weather condition. So, for example, you don't always have to buy cod. You can always buy lake perch, walleye, or whitefish. This is our local fish, the fish that we're familiar eating growing up. Okay, one advantage buying local fish is the more abundant they are, the cheaper they are, and the fresher they are. So look into buying local fish. It's always good. Whitefish is one of my favorite.
So whitefish is your favorite. What is the difference between, whitefish and then cod, per se?
Whitefish and cod, well, different texture. Like I said, cod is so well known. I mean, you can buy cod anywhere. But hope you buy it from Vincent Joe's, because the cod that we sell at Vincent Joe's are Alaskan USA cod. We try to buy most of the time USA seafood.
Okay, so it's from the U.S. It's not necessarily from different countries and everything.
Indeed, but sometimes we can't avoid it. Like orange roughy, for example, orange roughy are not available in the U.S. So most orange roughy that we get here in the U.S. are from New Zealand or from Australia.
But you try to stick to the United States as often as you can.
We try to.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. We like our seafood from Alaska or from the Great Lakes.
Okay,
Yep.
definitely. So just what else do you have that people might not normally know about?
Okay, that's a very good question. Chilean sea bass. Chilean sea bass, the filet mignon seafood. Great fish, especially if you don't like strong flavored fish. Chilean sea bass, best way to cook it is grill it. Another thing is mahi mahi. Mahi mahi is also a good fish for making fish tacos. Really dense, not a lot of strong flavor to it. A lot of people will like it. They'll be surprised.
Okay. What else? Is there anything else?
Well, we have some a lot of fresh seafood right here. The advantage of buying whole fish is you actually get a lot more for your money, okay? Because they don't shrink as much as when you're cooking fillet. Okay, and a lot of these fish are from, like for example, the branzini, the orata are from Greece, and they're all fresh. We also have like whole salmon. This is where a customer can buy, and we can fillet it. We can cut them to a steak. Buying seafood at Vincent Joe's is the best place to do it. We have over 100 years experience behind the counter.
So you guys definitely know what you're doing then.
I think we do. No, we know. Yes.
So what's really interesting about all of these whole fish is that they're flown in a couple times a week, you said, right? Does that include the whole fish?
3 times a week. Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So not a lot of fish department can say they have delivery on Sunday. We do.
How do you manage to keep fresh fish consistently being flown in? Would that present a challenge to you at all?
Well, persistent buying. You know, you got to know what customers are buying all the time. Like I said, it's a little bit easier for me to what to buy because most American focus on 10 different species of fish. So as long as I have those 10 different species of fish, I am safe. But we think outside the 10 species of fish. So you can see all these fish right here are flown all over the world. We got one from Greece. We have from coho salmon from Alaska. We got some shrimp too, some fresh shrimp. Believe it or not, I kid you not, only 2% of shrimp are sold fresh. The rest of them comes in previously frozen.
Really?
Indeed. Bet you didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Now you do.
Wow. Wow, I did not know that.
Yep.
I guess what else would people might not normally know about? You know, are there any other secrets that they should know when they're buying fresh seafood?
Well, a lot of people are very intimidated buying different type of seafood outside the 10 species of fish because they don't know how to cook it. Secret is, give it a familiar taste, they'll be a lot surprised. They'll be eating more than 10 species of fish by the time they know it.
Really?
Indeed. Use the same seasoning as you use for your salmon on mahi mahi or red snapper, and you'll be eating a lot more seafood.
So if you do use the same seasoning, how does that affect the taste, you know, like with the different kinds of fish? Does it make it taste different still since it is a different kind of fish, or how does that work?
The secret is you don't want to overpower the natural flavor of the fish. When you're cooking salmon, you want to taste salmon. So lightly season it with, you know, salt and pepper, maybe some granulated garlic, and you'll be all set.
What other, you know, spices or flavoring would you recommend?
Well, I'd like to keep it simple. Like I said, simplicity is the key to preparing good seafood.
Is there anything else that you wanted to show us or discuss?
Well, I want to show you some monkfish.
Oh, that's fish.
Keep them on ice to keep it fresh. Monkfish. Believe it or not,
monkfish. Okay.
this fish right here is also known as the Pullman lobster. It tastes like lobster.
It tastes like lobster.
Tastes like lobster.
Really?
Yeah, and not a lot of people knows that. Yep.
Wow. And you can buy this whenever at Vincent Joe's.
You can buy anything from this counter, and we'll be more than happy to fillet it, cut it into a steak, whatever you like.
So you would cook this fish for people then, or would you just sell it to them and then they would prepare it themselves?
As much as we'd like to cook for our people, we don't really have that manpower, but we'll make them a lot easier for our customers.
Okay, perfect. Wow, this is so interesting.
Indeed. Should hang around seafood a lot more.
You should hang around seafood a lot more. Thank you so much for talking to us, Dennis. We've learned a lot so far, and stay tuned with us until after the break, where we'll learn more about oysters.
The picnic shelters at Riverbends Park are available for rent
starting January 9th, 2012.
Reservations for the Bittersweet, Hickory Grove, and Maple View shelter will be accepted for groups for the months of May through September. For available dates, please contact Shelby Township Parks and Recreation Department at 586-731-0300. Amenities include a number of picnic tables, 8 grills scattered throughout the main park area, playscape and disc golf course, horseshoe pits and volleyball nets. For more information and residential and non-residential fees, please call the Shelby Township Parks and Recreation Department at 586-731-0300.
Welcome back to another episode of What's Cooking at Vincent Joe's. I'm your host, Veronica Meadows. Earlier, we talked about the different kinds of fish at Vincent Joe's, and we learned a lot about shrimp and everything, too. I'm joined again with Dennis Seeley. Thank you for joining us again.
You're welcome.
So now we're going to learn a little bit more about oysters, right?
We can talk about oysters, we can talk about mussels, anything you want.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's start with oysters.
Okay. When you buy oysters, just make sure that the shells are closed, not open. When the shells are open, it's usually a great indication that they are not alive. So try avoiding buying open shellfish. Okay. Also, same thing with the clams. You want to see when you buy clams, make sure they're all closed, nothing broken. It's a great indication that the little neck clams are fresh.
Okay, perfect. And then how often does Vincent Joe's, fly in their different oysters and clams?
3 times a week, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
Okay, perfect. So you can always make sure that they're fresh, ready to go, great
to
quality.
go. Yes, indeed. Also, we have some live lobsters. Live lobsters is a little bit different since we don't have a seafood tank. So you just gotta give us 24 hours head start, and we can definitely bring them into Michigan.
Wait, that's a live lobster?
Yes, indeed.
Can I touch it?
For sure. Go for it.
Okay. Oh.
There you go.
So you can buy live lobsters at Vincent Joe's.
You can buy live lobster at Vincent Joe's.
That's so cool. And then the same thing with your lobster. Is it flown in a few times a week?
Fresh from Boston.
Oh, fresh from Boston.
Indeed.
Wow. So you guys don't miss any stops here, do
Vincent
you?
Joe's has a great access. And basically,
Very
shopping at
interesting.
Vincent Joe's Seafood is kind of like shopping at the seashore at Boston.
And you take a lot of pride in
Or
that.
Pike's
I'm
Market
sure.
in Seattle.
Very
Yep, we do.
cool.
Yes, we do.
Very cool. Well, what else would you like to show us? Did we miss anything?
I think we basically cover everything.
This has been another exciting episode of What's Cooking at Vincent Joe's. I'm your host, Veronica Meadows, and we'll see you next time.